All right, welcome to the detention docket for the 323rd District Court for Monday, November 2nd, 2020. In compliance with the Texas Supreme Court Emergency Order number 25, we are not conducting in-person court proceedings, but we are doing these remotely via Zoom. And to comply with the Texas Constitution, Article in Section 13, otherwise known as the Open Courts Act, we are broadcasting these proceedings on YouTube so the public can observe what is happening inside their courtrooms. No portion of this detention hearing may be copied, recorded, or broadcast without permission of the court. Violations are punishable by contempt, up to 6 months in the Tarrant County Jail, and a $500 fine. I do ask that everyone here on Zoom turn on their cameras and are in an appropriate environment. If you are here simply to observe, you can log into the YouTube channel where things are being broadcast, or the proceedings are being broadcast. Otherwise, I do expect people to behave appropriately for court, meaning no bright lights behind you, ceiling fans, movement, domesticated animals, pajamas, or anything of the sort. So, Tamika, Fort Worth, I think you need to turn on your camera. So,
yes. Give me 1 second to figure it out.
All right, and Candace Ballard, or Kenise Ballard, you do need to turn on your camera. Miss Atkins, you need to turn on your camera. Thank you. All right, Tamika, Fort Worth, this is your last opportunity.
I'm trying. I'm going to have to log off my computer and get onto my cell phone with this because my computer is not bringing up my picture.
Okay, I would appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Miss Atkins, please turn on your camera. All right, so we'll start with Cesar Chavez.
Your Honor, the family had a flat tire, but they're on their way.
Are they? Okay, we'll go ahead and push this one back a little bit. I'd like to give the family a chance to be here, if possible. Well, let's skip to Denali Dunbar.
Your Honor, Tamika is Denali's mother, so she is trying to log back on.
Tamika, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. That's me on my cell phone. Can you see me now? It's going to say iPhone.
Tamika, let's go ahead and leave it the way it is since you're here now.
Okay.
And so just next time, if you can make sure that you can be on the on your phone where the video is available, I'd appreciate it.
I'm on there right now, if you can see.
Thank you. All right, so Mr. Dunbar, are we here?
Sir.
All right, Mr. Dunbar, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. When a kid's brought to our facility, you have to see a judge within 2 days and decide whether to keep you in custody or release you. If I keep you in custody, the law says you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You do have a right to an attorney, which Ms. Johnson has been appointed your attorney, and you have the right to remain silent. I can assure you that Ms. Johnson, your attorney, is absolutely telling you and advising you to use your right to remain silent. And if you do not have the ability to do it, you give it your best shot. Is that right, Ms. Johnson?
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right. All right, so Denali, let's see, you are 16 years old. You're currently on probation. The heck? For evading arrest of a motor vehicle from April of 2019. Since then, you were, let's see, an unauthorized use of motor vehicles. Since then, you had probation added for theft of property, $750 to $2,500. Another unauthorized use of motor vehicle, another theft of property, $2,500 to $30,000. Then in January of this year, you picked up cases for credit card abuse, identity theft, so 5 counts of that, and theft of property from $30,000 to $150,000, and an engaging in organized crime. You were let out. A couple weeks later, you were arrested for unauthorized use of motor vehicle. And then in July of this year for criminal mischief, theft of property, $750 to $2,500. Another count of stolen credit cards. November, Now we're here for something else. So we released you in July on electronic monitor. The following day, you cut off your EM and ran from the house, and you've been gone since July. Ms. Lide, did we have a DTA for him when he cut that off?
We did, Your Honor. It was issued the same day he ran from the house.
Okay. All right. So
He's in Orlando.
hold it. Your attorneys encourage you to not say anything.
Quiet.
All right, so let's see. Yesterday, police were dispatched to a Shell service station for suspicious activity. Store clerks say saw a silver Kia gas pump. 2 Hispanic males came in the store. One was bleeding with his eye swollen shut and asking for ice. As they were getting ice, store clerks saw 2 other black males inside the vehicle. They're passing a black pistol back and forth, but not pointing it at anybody. 2 males returned to the car. They all drove off. When police got there, they looked at surveillance. They searched the area, looked at the Kia, which was reported stolen. They tried to identify the occupants. One of them gave a false name and date of birth, but the officer recognized him as Denali Dunbar. He had a swollen lip. They said that they were beaten and robbed in Fort Worth, but didn't want to give any other information. They found the owner of the Kia through the wallet that was inside the car. Denali had her debit card in her pocket when he was searched. The owner said that she told police one of the males was her friend's boyfriend. They all were at a party, and she was going to take them home. They were on the car together, but refused to give an address of where to go. She pulled over, and at one time got out of the vehicle, and Denali was overheard telling one of the males to get in the driver's seat and drive off, which he did, leaving the victim in the parking lot. So the handgun they had was found to be a BB gun painted black, making it look like a real gun. And do we give him a drug test?
Your Honor, I looked on JCMS and I think they tried, but no drug test was given at this time. He does have a history with marijuana use.
Right. Denali, here's the thing. When you refuse a drug test here, I just assume you're positive for everything. So you're
Hey,
positive
look,
for weed,
I tried to
cocaine.
take it.
No, it's not look. Cocaine, weed, meth, PCP, Xanax, everything. That's what happens when you refuse a drug test. So cut off an EM and you're positive for everything on a drug test. That means I'm detaining you. Thank you. Isaac Hernandez.
Bro.
All right, where's Mr. Hernandez?
It's coming, sir.
All right, thank you. All right, sir's back there. We've got a long detention docket today, so if we can stage him a little faster, I'd appreciate it. Thank you. All right, so Mr. Hernandez, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. When a kid's brought to our facility, you have to see a judge within 2 days. I have to decide whether to keep you here or release you. If I keep you, you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. And your attorney is Mr. Beaver. All right, so Isaac, you're 15 years old and you have, I guess, no history. Well, back in October, you were brought in for a runaway and evading arrest with a vehicle. Let's see, on Saturday, about 5 o'clock, Everman saw somebody riding a bicycle, BMX style dirt bike on Wichita Street. Rider saw the police, ran an intersection, went northbound on the double yellow line, trying to get away from the police. So there were sirens and lights. There was a chase. He drove through fields around a barrier, through a narrow alleyway, through 2 trailers, avoiding the police. So they set up a perimeter. Isaac was caught when his bike suffered a lost drive chain. So the original officer identified Isaac, who evaded earlier on October 17th. He was listed as a runaway, brought into custody. Let's see. That was a multi-unit chase. So, all right. Well, Mr. Lewis, did we give him a drug test when he came in?
No, Your Honor. He has no prior history or pending referrals.
Oh, that's right, because the 17th, he wasn't picked up until this.
Yes, sir.
All right. Is Mr. Hernandez's parent here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mom, are you mom?
Yes, yes, sir.
All right. So whose motorcycle is this?
It's ours. We bought it from him for him.
Does he have a license?
It's not a motorcycle, it's a dirt bike. He's supposed to be riding it on the fields where we take him over there off of 20. since we were all at my cousin's house, I guess he left on it.
So why was he out with this dirt bike at 5 o'clock? Like on the streets?
I know he was supposed to go to a friend's house, but he knows not to be riding on the street. It's only supposed to be for the fields.
Right, but does he just drive across fields all the way to his friend's house?
No, he wasn't supposed to. He wasn't even supposed to be on that side. He wasn't even supposed. He knows not to ride on the streets. We told him, but I already done got rid of the rest of the stuff we have at home, his other dirt bike. So we're doing everything we can since he couldn't obey us. Now he's in trouble, so we got rid of the other dirt bike.
Okay, so do y'all have any more dirt bikes at home?
No.
All right, so what are we going to do to keep him from making poor decisions like this?
Well, the only thing he was in trouble is with this. So now we took away that, and he knows now. We've discussed it, me and my fiance at home. He's not allowed to have no more of the dirt bikes or any kind of four-wheelers. He's not allowed to be on nothing now.
Okay, tell me about his friends. Who's he out with?
I really don't know his friends. The ones that we know, the grandmother drops him off at our house and picks him back up, but that's the only one that we know he hangs around with. And since he hasn't been around, I just know he has friends in Everman, but I really don't know where they live at.
Okay, Mom, that kind of disturbs me for you not to know who he's hanging out with, right?
All we know is he's not supposed to be over there on Everman, but when I work, when after school, when I get home, he knows to be home right before it gets dark.
And he does?
I know two of them that comes to the house.
And he does get home before dark when he's supposed to?
Yes, he does.
Okay. What are his grades like?
Right now, like I was telling, I guess Mr. Lewis, with him doing virtual, he has the 504 plan. He needs to have one-on-one. So on the night, actually, he goes back into the school building. So his grades are, they're up and down because he's not having that one-on-one with the teachers because they pull him out of class.
What's he diagnosed with?
ADHD, speech impairment, dyslexia.
Does your son smoke weed?
No, not that we know of.
Would you like us to give him a drug test?
Is there any proper cause that was he? No.
No, I mean, I can because he's in detention, but generally the first time in, I just kind of, it's a conversation with the parents. I mean, he can't be charged with possession. This is really just if you want to know if he's using anything or not. So,
last time we gave him a drug test for hanging around that we thought it was him, it came back negative. So I really don't think because I'm always in his room. I actually just cleaned out his room the other day too. I didn't find nothing that's suspicious or anything.
okay, so you don't care. You don't care to know?
No, we don't. But I do have drug tests at home. I mean,
Okay.
he knows I do pop-ups if I see anything suspicious.
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't cost you anything. It's just one of those if you just want that information or not. All right, so Mr. Hernandez, normally if this was a first-time case, then I would just let you go to your parents because it sounds like your mom's got a pretty good grasp on things. However, since this just happened a couple weeks ago and you didn't take that as a blessing and that you evidently did the same thing again, that you think it's normal to run from the police on a vehicle, then I'm going to go ahead and detain you for now. You are looking at a felony level offense, so you could be committed to TJJD for this, right? Because it was a motor vehicle. That being said, if you get to level 1-0, and then I'll go ahead and give a chance to release you on electronic monitor back to your mom. It takes about 3 days to get there. Have they explained the level systems to you, Mr. Hernandez?
Yes, sir.
Yes, all right. So if you get to level 1 outstanding, I'm okay releasing you on the monitor, but you have to show to me that you deserve a chance to be released. All right. After that, we'll go and see how you are and if you're following the rules or not. If you break the terms of the electronic monitor, we're just going to bring you back here. Okay?
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Your Honor, could I get clarification, please? Are you saying that if he's on level 1L for at least 3 days, we can
Nope.
request?
Just reach level 1O and I'm okay releasing him.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Joseph Navares.
Yes, I'm here, sir.
All right, Mr. Navares, I'm Judge Kim. This is a 10-day detention hearing. You've been here for 10 days, so I'm reviewing your case, deciding whether to release you or not. If I keep you here, you see a judge every 10 days while you're here. Also, Mr. Adler, your attorney, is here. Is the parents for Mr. Navares here?
Judge, I do not see her online. She hasn't responded to my emails or phone calls.
Okay, all right. So at least Mr. Adler's here. All right, Mr. Navares, back in August, you're brought in here for aggravated robbery. Your officer responded to a shooting, met with a victim who was, oh, and that's right, the off-duty Dallas officer shot multiple times, taken to the hospital. Turns out witness saw the incident and saw Joseph standing over the victim, pointing a black handgun, then fired a round. Jumped into a tan GMC truck and headed south on Main. Off-duty officer followed until assistance. And Joseph and Brian were apprehended. All right, so, and then I believe you were on probation out of Dallas County for assault bodily injury, and you were in placement with Dallas County. And you've been on intensive supervision twice. You've been on EM 3 times out of Dallas County. All right, so Mr. Navares, at this point here in Tarrant County, things are different than Dallas County. And so where I draw the line in the sand is when kids have guns, all right, especially when kids use guns. And so I feel like you're a danger to the community as well as yourself, and I'm going to detain you. That being said, he's been here for 84 days. Mr. Adler, where are we on this case?
Your Honor, the district attorney's office has decided to try and certify him to the adult court.
Okay.
And we have a setting with you. I don't know the date off the top of my head, but it is coming up.
All right, so we'll have a discretion waiver hearing coming up.
Yes, sir.
We have a status conference on the 25th.
25th of November?
Yes, sir.
We don't have the psych eval back yet, Judge, and I think he's not scheduled to the 8th.
Judge, I'm not sure we need a status conference if it's going to be a certification hearing. We can just proceed forward as long as we get all the pre-diagnostic information.
So we have this scheduled the day before Thanksgiving.
For a status conference. And Frank, I'm sorry, Judge, we had originally had it scheduled for a date certain in December, and then it got switched to a status. So
okay,
that's something we'll talk to Mary about, Judge.
Yeah, I didn't know about the status conference. I'm sorry. I thought we were just set to go for
so Mary is blushing right now, just so you know.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't think we need a status conference for a certification hearing. So we'll just go ahead and keep the hearing in December. All right. So don't worry about the November 25th. And we'll just have the hearing to certify as an adult in December as planned. All right. Okay. Well, thank you. All right. Thank you. Mr. Navares, do you understand what's going on?
Yeah.
So the district attorney of Tarrant County is asking for me to give up my jurisdiction and certify you as an adult so you could look at adult charges. The difference here is being in juvenile, you could be looking at up to 40 years of commitment that could eventually be transferred to the Texas Department TDC. However, they're asking me to give up my jurisdiction and let this move to one of the adult criminal courts instead of a juvenile court, at which point you're looking at up to 99 years or life in prison. Okay, just so you know, I just want to make sure that hearing is going to be in December. If I give up my jurisdiction, that doesn't mean you're going to get life. It just means it's possible, just so you understand what could happen. Okay? So I encourage you to keep your behavior level. I'm glad to see it's 1-0. You got to keep that because you got to give your attorney something to work with. Even if I certify you, you want your attorney in the adult case to be able to show that you're behaving and don't need to go to prison. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Navares.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
All
you,
right, Ms.
Judge.
Parker. Oh, Mr. Chavez is here? Okay, we'll do that one after Mr. Parker. Hello, Mr. Parker. I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. You were just brought back into our facility yesterday, and so I have to review, decide whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you here, you see a judge every 10 days. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. Mr. Hall, I believe, couldn't make it, but Ms. Janine Hopkins is filling in for him. So, Mr. Parker, how was Saturday with your dad?
Whoa.
Well, it was great.
It was great. What about Sunday with your mom?
That was great too.
Okay, good. I'm glad you're back. Did we give him a drug test coming back in?
Yes, Your Honor.
He was negative?
Yes.
Fantastic. That's what I would say. Louis, I apologize that this is taking so long. You know, you kind of put me in a spot here because the last time it was taking so long to let you out, you got picked up with a gun. So, you know, I got to be extra cautious on this one, but I'm glad you're able to talk to your dad and try and rebuild this relationship. So at this point, you know, I'm going to detain you. You're not surprised by this. Let's see what behaviors level's like. And in 2 weeks, I will entertain the idea of doing this again. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Parker. The next one was Alyssa Rangel. Oh, no, I'm sorry, Cesar Chavez.
Judge King, did you want to listen?
No, I'm looking for Cesar Chavez.
He's on his way, Judge.
Okay, there we go. It's out of custody. All right, Mr. Chavez. I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. It's an out of custody hearing. I'm making a decision whether to take you into custody or to leave you in the community. If I take you into custody, the law says you see a judge every 10 days while you're here. All right, so you're 16 years old. You were here in 18 for a terroristic threat, which the DA gave you DPP for. Then 7 months later, you were brought in for an assault family violence, which you also got DPP for. And then there was a motion to reopen disposition because then there was a problem. See, so in August, about 6:45, Fort Worth PD was waved down by two females at the QT on Brentwood Stair. They said a Hispanic male was driving a black pickup, displayed a weapon, causing them to be in fear. Female pointed at the male who pulled into the QT gas station. This occurred due to road rage and almost collision that occurred on 8/20. Suspect was identified as Cesar Chavez. Do we know, Ms. Rodriguez, do we know who identified him?
The victims, Your Honor.
The victims did? All right. Cesar's parents arrived on scene, said he does carry BB guns. Fort Worth PD located a gray handle pistol from the backseat center floorboard. So he was arrested for aggravated assault. The next day, I was released because of no probable cause. I said if there's additional information, have another detention hearing. And it turns out, yeah, now I remember this one. So the written statement from the victim said he pulled out a black gun and cocked the gun at us and we sped off. Victim 2 said he pulled the gun and cocked it and pointed toward us and sped off. All right, so yeah, now that we have more information before Mr. Chavez, you know, I need to follow the law. There was no indication you're the one that actually had the gun. And so now that there is probable cause that you actually pointed a gun at people, this is, I'm finding there's probable cause for your detention. I need to let you know, anytime a child in Tarrant County is brought in here with a gun or using a gun, it gives me the greatest concern, even if it's not a real gun. I come across kids that point BB guns or airsoft guns at people who have a real gun and they get shot, even though they didn't have a real gun. So the fact that apparently you were willing to make somebody in fear for their life by displaying, even though it was a BB gun, that I'm going to detain you because I'm worried about your safety and the safety of the public. All right. Thank you. All right, Alyssa Rangel.
You're gonna come with me? Mom, if you want to go in front, wait for Karina.
All right, Ms. Rangel, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. Purpose of this hearing is to make a decision whether to keep you here or to release you. You have to see a judge within 2 days when you're brought here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. And we have appointed Mr. Adler as your attorney. So, Alyssa, you're 15 years old. You've been in here, see, this started when you were 10 on an intervention case. Then this February brought in for criminal trespass, which you got supervisory caution for. So now they're saying on October 29th, around 7:15, police were dispatched to a park where there was some kind of vigil going on. Alyssa's mother told law enforcement that someone told her daughter was there being held at the park. Mom had listed you as a runaway because you left home without permission. So when the police got to you, Emily, you gave a fake name, and the bag you had weed in it. So we could have released your parents on Friday, but Mom and Dad were not able to come and pick you up. And Mom is afraid that if they let you go, you will run away again for days at a time. We give you a drug test, positive for weed. Well, is Mom, Dad here?
Mom is present.
Mom is present. Where's
in the parent room.
Hi, Mom. Okay, so what is this vigil that we're talking about? Do you know?
He was at a vigil for a person that passed away here in North Fort Worth, older guy.
I'm sorry, can you take off your mask? I'm having trouble understanding you.
He was like 20 years old, a vigil, someone passed away to here in North Fort Worth.
Okay, so when you say passed away, like he had cancer and passed away, car wreck, or was killed?
Shooting.
A shooting. Okay, so why is your daughter hanging around people, young people that are getting shot?
She's hanging around the wrong crowd. She's saying she's older when she's not. She's trying to grow up faster when she doesn't need to. That's what my concern is.
Yeah, so she's not being 15.
No, sir.
Well, that's a problem. Alyssa. Okay, Mom, how long has this been happening as far as her hanging around people that you don't approve of?
Maybe about the past year,
Last year, all right. How long is she smoking weed?
about around the same time. She has been through some tragedies. She lost her best friend. I've offered her, it took me a while to get her a placement to see in a warm place for grief counseling, so that she can handle it in a better way rather than self-medicating and running away.
Is she on any kind of medication at all other than the marijuana?
She needs to be on medication, yes, sir.
She stopped about a year ago?
It's been a little bit before, since the last time she was evaluated. So they had her on medication when she was in Denton.
When's the last time she saw a doctor?
Since she was in Denton. It's almost been about 6 months, maybe.
Okay. So, you know, we need the kids, juveniles seeing mental health doctors, it needs to be about every 6 weeks. Okay?
Yeah.
And that's mostly because the brain is changing. And so the doctor has to try and keep up with the physical changes of a child.
My thing is, I can give her a hand, but I need her to meet me halfway. I can't, can't chase her down when she leaves the house.
No, and Mom, this is where I disagree with you. You don't need to meet her halfway. She needs to meet you all the way. She needs to come to you. You don't need to come to her. That's part of being a kid. You know, when she goes and gets a job and pays her own bills, pays her rent, has responsibilities, then maybe she meets you halfway. But as long as she's dependent on you, she's dependent on you. Don't give up on that, Mom. Don't lower your standards, because all that does is it enables her. Okay. She's going to a child will always take more when the parents give more. So you have to draw the line in the sand, Mom. I'm not scolding you. I'm just trying to share some parental advice as the juvenile judge, okay? So that being said, I know Alyssa now knows what I expect of her. Alyssa, I'm going to lay this out very simply and very clearly for you. You are 15 years old. If you want to be a child, if you want to be treated like a child with the benefits that come with being 15 years old, your mom and I are more than happy to do so because we will recognize that. However, if you want to act like a grown-up, and I don't know about your mom, but I will treat you like a grown-up. And it's really that simple. If you're going to make big girl decisions like an adult does, I will give you big girl consequences. And that's just the way it's going to be all the way till you age out of the juvenile system. However, if you behave like a 15-year-old girl should, which means you're listening to your mom, you're following the rules, you're not running away, you're not using weed, you're taking medication, seeing the doctor, the things that a kid's supposed to do, then I will give you every grace and every deference and every benefit that a child would. So this is your decision to make. Either if you want to say you want to be a grown-up and have the judge treat you like an adult, happy to do so. If you want to say, Judge, I'm only 15 and I want the benefit of you being nicer to me because I am younger and give me another chance and chance and chance, as long as you're behaving like a 15-year-old with respect, I will do so. That being said, I'm going to go ahead and detain you. And I'm going to go ahead and detain you, get to level 1O, and you got to hold it for 7 consecutive days. That means if you drop to level 1 acceptable, it all starts over again where you get to level 1 outstanding. So this is not going to be easy, especially for a girl like what it looks like the problems that you have with defiance and not following rules. If you can follow 100% of the rules here, then I will give you another chance and go home to mom. However, if you give the little microaggressions, if you give the defiance, if you're just going to do it your own way, you will stay here for a long, long time until we find a placement for you. And when I say placement, that's the kind of place where you go for 6 to 9 months in Iowa or South Dakota or something like that. And you stay there until you show you can follow the rules. Right? So this is not a pleasant situation to be in. And the crazy part about this is you're in this situation because you decided you want to smoke some weed and walk out the house. Like, how easy was it never to deal with me? But the fact that you're not listening to your mom, that's what brought you here. And that's what I think we need to fix. Do you have any questions for me, Alyssa?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Get to level 1 outstanding. I'm giving you the keys to get out of here. You control this. So you get to level 1O, you hold it for 7 consecutive days, then I'll be happy to release your electronic monitor. But if you don't, then you'll just stay here until you do. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Nava. So we have Rodney Moore. All right, Mr. Moore. Judge Kim, you've been here for 10 days, so I'm reviewing your case, deciding whether to keep you in custody or to release you. The court will make a finding that the interests of the public or the interests of the child would be better served by opening this proceeding to the public. So it is open. So Rodney, you are, oh, hi, Grandpa.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. And I believe Marquita Crosby is here. Mom is here as well.
Oh, great.
Hello. So Mom, good to see you again. All right, so a couple things. Rodney, you're 12, you're here. You're on probation for arson. While you were out, you had cut off your electronic monitor and you were absconded for about a month. And so we finally caught up with you. When we brought you in, you were positive for marijuana. And you have a pending charge for injury to a child where a baby was shot. You were resource staffed and there was a placement in Grayson County that found you that is willing to accept you. So, all right. So a couple things. First of all, I don't ever let this go. I always keep this with me, Rodney, because just like I told you, once you put it on the internet, it never comes down.
Yes, sir.
Remember this picture that we had that I'm worried about you with guns. And then now I'm finding another one. So these pictures of you with firearms keep on popping up on the internet. And now my concern is, how many guns do you actually have access to? Like, do you have them hidden away, or all these people providing them to you? Like, my fear is if I release you, you have one of these multitude of weapons that keep on showing up every week. Yes, sir.
I ain't worried about no guns, none of that.
No, well, you're not worried about guns, but I am, Rodney, because, what's surprising is when they keep on just filtering through and showing up every once in a while, it just worries me because it makes me think that you have access to all these guns. If it was just one, it'd be different, but it's like every week another one pops up and it just makes me worried. So I'm just not knowing how many guns that you have access to in the community, and the fact that you also have a shooting case you're involved with. Yes, sir.
Look, check this out. I realize, like, you use the gun, you're gonna die by a gun. I ain't even worrying about no gun.
Well, you're not worried, but I am.
Like,
right?
Look, I'm not worried about being around no guns. Yeah,
no, but I'm worried about it. You may not be worried, but I'm worried about it. Because as far as it's like all these pictures of guns keep on popping up. I didn't even know about all these. And just like they all just start showing up. And so I'm kind of concerned. I think you with guns is a much bigger problem than I originally thought it was. And this is kind of the problem when you put things on the internet. It just always stays up there and always kind of shows up. Not always at once. Sometimes it just filters and trickles down and it keeps on flowing like out of a garden hose. So as long as these pictures keep on showing up until I have a good idea of with how many guns you have access to and where you're getting them from, it just makes me not want to let you go. Yes, sir.
What new gun popped up?
I don't remember seeing this picture before.
You showed me that.
Oh, is that one I already had?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I meant to bring out this one then. That's a different picture that showed up.
That's old.
Well, it may be old, but it's new to me.
That's before I was even on probation. None of that.
You shouldn't be proud of that.
No, I'm not proud of it.
That means like you were 10 years old. That means you were 10 years old in this picture? That makes it even worse that somebody was giving a 10-year-old a gun if it was before you were on probation. Like, how does that make it better for you, Rodney?
It
Tell me
don't.
you were 10-year-old with a gun and before, because it was before you were on probation. So yeah, as long as, I mean, it seems like you've had access to gun for years and years now, which makes me even more worried because I don't know how many more guns you have access to when you get out. So I just, as long as these pictures keep on showing up, it's going to make me more and more worried about releasing you because you can go out and get another gun. Yes, sir.
I got a question. You know when you let me out on the monitor last time?
Mm-hmm.
When I did my 2 weeks, why I didn't get off?
When you did your 2 weeks, what do you mean?
Papa, right? You remember I did my whole 2 weeks and I didn't get off.
He had a probationary period. He was told to do 2 weeks in his, he would be allowed to go out, I guess, and have some free time. Wasn't he?
He told me put you on 2 weeks on the monitor, then you're gonna get off. Remember?
No.
Yes, I think there was something to that effect. Yes.
I never give promises like that because I've been here long enough that too many kids break the rules. So what I probably told you was, we'll try it out for 2 weeks, and then if it's time to take it off, then we'll take it off. But I never make that promise on monitor that we're only doing 2 weeks. Because what happens if a kid has a monitor for 2 weeks and at 13 days decides to go commit a new offense? Right? I'm not going to let them off the monitor. I'm going to bring them back in. Right? I don't make promises like that.
Yes, sir.
So, Mr. Moore, as long as these pictures are coming up, I'm getting very, very concerned. All right, that being said, so Ms. Crosby, I know you're here. I've got a concern because evidently you are broadcasting your conversations on the phone with Rodney over the internet for people to view. And so I would like to discuss this with you in person. If we can go ahead and have you come into court, what day is convenient for you?
Well, my aunt just passed away. I'm in Oklahoma down here. We're having a lot of family issues. So
I understand. So, but my question is, what day is convenient for you?
probably sometime next week because I'll be down here a whole 6 days. So
Okay. So why don't we do this? Why don't next Monday when Rodney has his next
and
detention
I'm sorry, you were saying what about?
Okay, so next Monday, when Rodney has his detention hearing, that you're instructed to be here in person at the courthouse. Okay, so
I'm not going to make it in 6. I will be here for 6 consecutive days.
yes. So you're already there.
Or to make plans with my friend. But what were you saying in the beginning? I'm sorry, I missed the whole thing of what you were saying, Judge.
Ms. Crosby.
I didn't hear you. That's what I was saying. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm not trying to be like that with you today.
Talk at the same time. Okay, only one person can talk at a time.
Yeah, for sure.
What I'm saying is, you're given notice that you need to be here in the courthouse at 10:30 on Monday morning, next Monday.
Referring.
So we can talk about evidently that you are having phone calls with Rodney and then broadcasting those phone calls to a third party over the internet. So that is what I want to talk to you about. All right. So I will see you.
What was that picture you showed? That's what I was asking.
I will see you next morning at 10:30. Yes, Mr. Moore.
That's my sister. That's not my mama.
Okay. Then your mom can talk to us about it. Okay. So,
that's not me in the photo because I don't wear blonde hair.
Ma'am, we can talk about this next Monday morning. All right. All right,
I
Ms.
probably
Moore,
won't make it.
Ma'am,
I probably won't make it. That's what I'm asking.
I'm instructing you that you need to be here at 10:30 on Monday morning. This is not a hair appointment. This is a court setting. You need to be here at Monday at 10:30.
I won't.
All right. So, Papa, thank you for being here.
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Moore, I'm going to go and detain you. Thank you.
Won't make it, Judge Kim.
That's your decision whether you can skip court or not. I can't make you be here for this. I'm giving you notice when it is. If you miss it, then there's consequences to that.
Right.
Joshua Ballard. Oh, is it? All right. So at this point, that is the hearings I'm doing. I'll be back later. I'm going to turn this docket over to Judge Porter so we can handle these 10-day and couple 5-day detention hearings.
Thank you, Judge Kim. Good morning, everybody. All right, Mr. Ballard, you and I know each other, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Ballard, the court, I'm going to take judicial notice of the hearings concerning you that I've overseen over, I guess, golly, going all the way back to January, if memory serves correctly. You have the right to remain silent. You also have the right to an attorney. Your attorney, Mr. Pearson, is here. The court has previously determined that probable cause exists to believe that you engaged in delinquent conduct. This is a 10-day detention hearing after the court initially detained you. Mr. Ballard, you've been level 1-0 since Friday. However, the court has released you on at least 3 occasions on the electronic monitor. Each of those times you cut it off. And then this most recent time, you came back with a new offense that involves a weapon. Given that history, plus your inconsistency at maintaining level 1-0 in the back, the court believes that if I were to release you today, you would be a danger to the community. And so on that basis, you will be detained, and that will be the order of court. Thank you, Mr. Ballard. Ernesto Pacheco Gutierrez. Ms. Ms. Perkins is here. Yay.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. Are you Mr. Gutierrez?
Yes, sir.
Pardon?
Yes, sir.
Happy birthday.
Appreciate it.
All right. Mr. Gutierrez, the law says when you're brought into detention and initially detained, you must see a judge every 10 business days thereafter. This is your 10-day hearing. You have the right to remain silent. You also have the right to an attorney. And Ms. Keenan Perkins is your attorney and is here. Today is Mr. Gutierrez's 16th birthday. You've been level 1-0 since the 27th. So, Ms. Guerrero, what brings Mr. Gutierrez into court today?
Yes, Judge. He was referred in custody for possession of marijuana. It seems that at 1:30, patrol officers stopped the vehicle, and Ernesto they knew him from past contacts, and he was also in violation of curfew, and they did a search, and they found a jar containing marijuana on him. And he does have some other cases that were pending with our department for burglary of a vehicle ×2 and evading arrest and criminal trespass. The cases are currently pending over with the district attorney's office, Judge.
And those burglary of motor vehicles, those also occurred shortly after midnight, allegedly, correct?
Yes, sir.
Does he have a parent or guardian here today?
Yes, both his mother and father are present.
And let's see.
And Your Honor, I will say on the last detention hearing, October 19th, I believe it was Judge Kim said to have him get to level 1-0 and stay on level 1-0, which he has done successfully. And so we would like to request that he be released and that his parents are here today. Last time his parents could not be here. We had grandparents here.
And how long did Judge Kim say he had to maintain level 1-0?
He did not specify. He said, we're going to detain you and to get to level 1-0. Those were the words that I have in my notes.
All right, let me double check something real quick. All right. Okay. All right, Mom and Dad.
Yes.
Did y'all know about his marijuana use?
No.
I've been knowing about it when I think he got caught with it, but nothing around the house or actually seen him do it. It was more of the tickets that he got a possession, I believe, one time.
How long ago did those tickets occur?
I thought the police officer said they found him with marijuana. I mean, it was sometime last year. It's been at least a year ago.
And does he have a job?
No, not yet.
Where'd he get the money to buy the marijuana?
Well, he was going to work with me for a few days, but it wasn't in that time period. Money-wise, I wouldn't know where he would get the money from.
Okay, so since last year up until at least October of this year, what have y'all been doing to dissuade him from using marijuana?
He doesn't use marijuana in my
He's
home.
not using it. It was just a ticket from like a year ago or so.
He never had a ticket for marijuana. This is the first time we're hearing about it, and it's the first time him having a ticket for marijuana. He's never.
I thought Dad just told me that he got a ticket for marijuana last year.
I've never seen
Well,
a ticket for marijuana.
It was a police officer that found marijuana in the vehicle that he was in. I don't know if it was my son's possession or his friend's.
But he never received a ticket for it. No. This is the.
Oh, okay. So that's not his fault. We shouldn't hold that against him, right? Correct?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Gutierrez, I'm not yet satisfied that you're gonna stay straight and narrow if I to release you. I have some questions about the appropriateness of this situation. So you need to maintain level 1.0, and we'll revisit this in 10 business days. I'm gonna order that you be detained.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Perkins.
So I signed off.
Isaac Michael Mata.
Yes, sir.
All right, are you Mr. Mata?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mata, the law says when you're brought into detention and initially detained, you must see a judge every 10 business days thereafter. This is your 10-day hearing. You have the right to remain silent. You also have the right to an attorney. Ms. Mills, your attorney, she's here. Do you see her on the screen?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm going to make a long story short. You're on parole from TJJD. You're brought in allegedly with unauthorized use of a motor vehicle, plus unlawfully carrying a weapon, possibly a 9mm. So based on that, based on those two facts, you've been level 1.0 since the 20th of October. You need to maintain level 1.0 because that's going to keep you in the best possible position for Ms. Mills to argue on your behalf. Because if you fall off that perfect behavior in the back, the state's going to do all sorts of mean things. So you need to maintain that. You need to maintain that to put Ms. Mills in the best possible position to argue on your behalf. But if the court were to release you today, I'm convinced that you'd be a danger to the public. So on that basis, you'll be detained. Thank you, sir.
Your Honor. Sir. I'm not on parole. I'm not on TJJD parole no more. I've completed TJJD parole. I've already completed that program. That's why they keep telling me that I'm on parole, but I'm not on parole no more.
All
He
right,
completed his parole, but just so you know.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Mills. I appreciate you clarifying that.
Sure.
Nevertheless, his history is going to count against him in this situation.
Understand.
Rodney Settles.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mills.
Thank you.
All right. All right, are you Mr. Settles?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Settles, my name is Judge Porter. The law says when you're brought into detention and initially detained, You must see a judge every 10 business days thereafter. You have the right to remain silent. You also have the right to an attorney. And Ms. Lothorpe, your attorney is here to represent you. Okay. According to the police report, around 5:30 in the afternoon on October 18th, Fort Worth police officers were discharged to a Quick Mart on McCart Avenue here in Fort Worth, Tarrant County, Texas, regarding a male shooting a gun in the air multiple times. Eventually, a suspect vehicle was located. The police report indicates that you told the police you were arguing with two other males, saw them reach for what you believed was a weapon, so you fired a handgun in the air one time. Thereafter, video surveillance obtained by the police show you placing a gun in a handbag and concealing that backpack with ostensibly the gun behind the Quick Mart. The gun, however, we don't know if it was recovered or not. You have been, you've been level 1-0 as of just this morning. Ms. Lothorpe, what are your thoughts?
I'd like to know if the grandmother who he resides with, is she online? Because she was going to sign in by phone and the mom was going to show up in person.
The mom was unable to make it. I am the grandmother. I am here.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Where are you? Okay, there you are. All right, so thank you. And Your Honor, I have a couple questions for her, if it'd be all right with the court.
Certainly.
Okay, yes, ma'am. Are you basically acting as guardian, letting your grandson reside with you in your home?
Yes, ma'am.
And that's been the arrangement for quite some time?
Yes, ma'am. He was given to me a year ago.
Okay, and so you were not here last time. Juvenile was having a hard time finding his family, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. We had currently moved and his phone was broken. So he didn't, when it died, he didn't have my phone number. He never remembers it. And I continuously tell him he needs to remember that number. So,
okay,
so the address that he gave.
It was not your lack of wanting to participate as much as no one told you. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, and you described your grandson to me on the phone the other day as someone that does mind your curfews?
Yes, ma'am.
He is not known in the past to have a gun?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
In fact, you've tried to investigate to try to figure out where this gun came from, correct?
Yes, ma'am. And I am currently still working on that process as well.
And he was normally he is with his, did you say cousin?
Yes, ma'am.
And who was there that day, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
But normally they go off and play basketball, correct?
Ma'am, that is correct. Their normal activity is just to go play basketball and come back to the house and get on the game.
Okay, now you described that if he was released that he would be on internet schooling.
That is correct.
And he wouldn't, and you would agree to keep him home except for legal, medical, or court procedures.
That is correct as well.
And you believe that he would mind you in following those rules?
Yes, ma'am.
You have no objections to an ankle monitor being placed on him to ensure it?
No, ma'am.
And if he was to violate your rules of the home, curfew rules, or any other rule, that you would be first to get a hold of probation to report that to him?
Yes, ma'am, that is correct.
All right, so you are a parent or grandparent of discipline?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and was this action out of character as you know your grandchild?
Yes, ma'am, it was out of character.
Okay, nothing further, Judge.
All right. Ms. Lothorpe, you've got a great grandmother here. The problem is, for me at least, Mr. Settles has only been level 1-0 as of this morning. Mr. Settles, I need you to maintain level 1-0 consistently, and you haven't done that yet. Once you prove to me that you can maintain level 1-0 consistently in detention, then I'll have reason to believe that you'll maintain level 1-0 for your grandmother, which is what I expect of all kids who get released. You're not there yet. So on that basis, I'm going to order that you be detained. You'll have another 10-day hearing in 2 weeks. Mr. Settles, I want you to maintain level 1-0 during that time. You do that, and then I'll be convinced that you'll maintain level 1-0 for your grandmother. But until I'm convinced of that, I can't let you go, okay? because this is a serious offense. Anytime a kid is brought in on a gun charge, that changes things. So that's going to be the order of the court.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Thank you, grandmother. I appreciate it. I really do.
Yes, sir. Have a good day.
Thank you.
I think it was mostly his level, Grandma.
Jameis Anthony Atkins. All right. Don't bring him in yet. The law says when a child is under the age of 14, there's a presumption that the public's right to be involved or witness the proceedings is outweighed by the juvenile's privacy interests, unless a showing to the contrary has been made. No such showing has been made, and so therefore, pursuant to Section 5408 of the Texas Family Code, the court will be stopping the live stream of these hearings.